Hello and welcome back to the XRP podcast. I am your host, Andrew, the XRP Maximalist. So Oasis Network has been operating their Sapphire Paratime, which is basically a subnetwork, for a little over a year now. It has entered mainnet already. Sapphire was all about working with blockchain developers in order to build confidential decentralized applications. Confidential decentralized applications are something that we don't have in the cryptocurrency world today because everything exists on a public ledger. So that means all your information, all your data is available for the world to see. And I've already discussed this in my Illuminex 100x crypto video, which is actually related to today's topic as well. But confidential dApps are becoming a necessity in Web3 as people value data sovereignty highly in this day and age. With traditional blockchains, there is a blockchain privacy paradox because all user data is publicly stored. But through the use of Oasis Network's Sapphire Paratime blockchain, I know it's a mouthful, but stick with me here. With the use of the Sapphire Paratime blockchain, this allows for decentralized applications to be built that can make data confidential while still executing smart contracts. Sapphire is a groundbreaking developer environment, as it is the first and only confidential Ethereum virtual machine, or EVM, compatible paratime. And what is a paratime? Because you're going to hear that word a lot in this episode. So with the Oasis Network, it's split into three different forms of blockchains. One is called the Sapphire Paratime, which is WebAssembly compatible. One is called the Emerald Paratime, which is EVM compatible. So it's like Binance Smart Chain, it's like Base, it's like Linea. And then you have Sapphire, which is an EVM compatible paratime as well. So an EVM compatible version of their blockchain. But this layer is 100% confidential. It has those privacy applications there, which is what makes it so different from a traditional EVM. And it's actually incredible because this is, again, the first time that a project like this has ever been introduced to the world of cryptocurrency. In terms of privacy, we've had Monero and we've had other alternatives such as Zcash and Dash, but this is the first time ever we've had an EVM compatible and fully interoperable version of it. So this is monumental. So the Sapphire Paratime, all right, so the confidential EVM version of the Oasis Network blockchain, okay, allows for decentralized apps to be built that can make data confidential while still executing smart contracts as well. Sapphire is a groundbreaking developer environment, as it is the first and only confidential Ethereum virtual machine compatible paratime. This runtime has the ability to help scale blockchains rapidly towards Web3 and also allows EVM developers to quickly lay the foundations for privacy-enabled blockchain decentralized applications, which are becoming a necessity. In fact, they are really a necessity since day one because users need to have sovereignty over their own data. We already have this issue in the modern world today in the world of Web 2. So this is an imperative. You wouldn't want people just walking into your house and just looking at all your stuff and seeing everything you do. So why would you want that to exist on the blockchain as well? Your data is your personal property, and you have a right to keep that private. Point blank, period. This is why something like the Oasis Network and the Sapphire Paratime is so important. And I think this is actually even more important than Ethereum. This is like number 2 after XRP. But I'm not trying to get into ranking shit here because all this technology is important because it leads to one final eventual goal of a fully interoperable Web3 world. Sapphire offers Solidity developers a familiar Ethereum-compatible building environment, but they get the added benefits of Oasis's privacy technology, which is key to solidifying blockchain's presence in the Web3 world. Currently, a key security component of blockchain means data executed on chain is publicly available and transparent. And that is good and everything, but we do need to acknowledge that any sensitive data, such as somebody's financial data and health information, if we really want to tokenize the world and put it on the blockchain, these things need to remain confidential if we have any hope to scale Web3 whatsoever. Sapphire allows for decentralized apps to be built that can utilize confidential smart contracts, where, for example, transactions between wallets can remain visible and transparent and ensure security. But the data on how much was transacted is kept private. This differs from what we see today on any public EVM. If a trade is made on a public EVM decentralized exchange, anybody can see the inputs and the outputs of the transaction. I do that all the time. They have bots out there to do that all the time. There are institutions and businesses today focused on scouring through that data. Hiding certain aspects of a smart contract execution is a powerful tool for Web3. Sapphire empowers Ethereum virtual machine developers so that they can add confidential elements to their decentralized applications through confidential smart contracts, through scaling their creations to Web3 as the industry's first confidential Ethereum virtual machine compatible paratime. Sapphire is the only place for Solidity developers to build decentralized apps to protect user privacy. Why? Because nobody else has done this. Nobody else has accomplished this. All right. So they have an entire monopoly on privacy in the Web3 world. Are you really trying to pick up on the grandiose scale of this project? Because I wouldn't want to waste your time with any garbage. The Sapphire Network is a diamond among dust. So the Sapphire Network allows for confidential end-to-end state encryption, as well as confidential verifiable randomness. It's also fully EVM compatible. It's going to be 99% cheaper in terms of gas and fees than Ethereum. Because it's Ethereum based, it's easy to integrate and upgrade your current EVM decentralized applications into privacy enabled ones and build new ones on top of traditional EVM applications as well. Finally, the Sapphire Paratime is going to have a cross-chain bridge that will enable cross-chain interoperability. And if you've been listening to this podcast, if you've been following along, I'm trying to tell you a story here. I've already talked about this cross-chain bridge. It's the Illuminex platform. If you went back and watched my video on Illuminex Exchange, Illuminex is a decentralized exchange that functions as a cross-chain bridge for any and all ERC20 tokens. Do you understand that? That means you'll be able to transact between chains as well as within the same chain, fully private without anybody having the opportunity to see what's going on in your transactions. You're able to build modular transactions as well and modular dApps as well with different degrees of privacy levels and public information levels. That way you can share what needs to be shared, but still keep sensitive data where it needs to be kept in the dark from the public eye. This is essential to any business, to any institution, and to any individual. As an EVM runtime, Sapphire provides familiarity to a large cohort of blockchain developers. However, the privacy-preserving technology is what makes it so groundbreaking and is the only reason and the only way for Solidity developers to be part of a genuine growing industry, unless they want to just keep remaking the same bullshit over and over again that we already have, changing the name and pumping and dumping it. Oasis Network is here to stay because the Sapphire Network is just leveraging Oasis's privacy technology. This privacy technology requires nodes to use a secure computing environment to make all of this work. This technology is called a trusted execution environment, but you'll usually see it being thrown around online as TEE. TEEs, or trusted execution environments, are analogous to a black box for smart contract execution. So if you had common blocks before, which were boxes made of glass where everybody can see what's going in and out of them and what's happening inside of them at all times, then Oasis Network's blocks are completely black and completely opaque. You aren't able to see what's going on unless it's been programmed for you to do, or if you have the permission to see what's going on inside of that black box. So when you're making a transaction, encrypted data goes inside the black box, which the Oasis network calls a secure enclave, along with the smart contract. Inside of the black box is where the data is then decrypted and processed by the smart contract, and then encrypted once more before it is sent outside of the secure enclave. So basically, when you're making a transaction or utilizing a decentralized application, your input into the smart contract doesn't immediately enter the smart contract and begin processing. Instead, your input is encrypted right away. Your input and the smart contract are then sent into the secure enclave. Inside of the secure enclave is where the smart contract and your input data interact. And then they go through the entire process, it gets validated. And then after that, once the transaction has been confirmed, the final data is encrypted once more. And then both the smart contract and the final data exit the black box or the secure enclave. And that's when you get your output, which you requested from the beginning. This process is all to ensure that data remains confidential and is not disclosed to the node operator or even the application developer. So even the people who are making these dApps won't necessarily know or have your data. Neither will the node operators, which actually keep the Sapphire Paratime and the Oasis network functioning and running. So that's going to remove a lot of liability for them as well. But remember, with Oasis, like I said, this privacy technology isn't only available on the Ethereum virtual machine and EVM networks. At Oasis, they've built privacy preserving technology into their network with other paratimes such as Cypher. Cypher is a WebAssembly compatible version of the Oasis network versus their other two models. If you don't want to deal with Solidity with the traditional method of making Ethereum decentralized applications, Sapphire uses the same technology as Cypher, but again, Sapphire is just the EVM compatible version, which means familiar user facing tools such as the Web3 gateway, the wallet, the Explorer, etc., etc. But the reason why Sapphire is so big is because through Sapphire, it makes it really easy to port over your decentralized applications in a matter of minutes and start using privacy technology. It won't take a lot of time or a lot of effort to adopt this technology as well, which makes it very approachable. Meanwhile, their Emerald network functions more like a traditional EVM without those privacy enabled layers. But keep in mind, at any time, if you are building an application on Emerald, then you have the option of building it on Sapphire as well with little to no more effort than you would already have porting it over to Emerald. So no matter which direction you go, the Oasis network has something for everybody. I'm bringing up the Oasis network right now because currently the Illuminex decentralized exchange is gearing up for their token generation event in January, so in this month. I'm bringing that up because the Illuminex platform is key to the foundation of the entire network. Think of it like a Uniswap, but a Uniswap that's not just critical to Ethereum, but a Uniswap that functions on all blockchains. Anyways, that summarizes my introduction into the Oasis network and the Sapphire Paratime EVM, or the Sapphire blockchain if you just want to keep it simple. I will be doing a further deep dive into this, specifically because I think that the recent events, the approval of the Bitcoin ETF, actually spells a lot in the favor of the direction of not Ethereum, but of XRP, of course, and for Oasis Network as well. But I'll have further information for that in another episode. Thank you so much for listening. I hope I helped you today. If you would like to participate in any free airdrops or support the channel, you can check the description below, and there are some freebies for you. And that's pretty much it. Anyways, take care, be well, be safe. Take it easy. Bye. God bless you.